So as long as we keep moving, I guess we do okay, huh? So here's the EGR Cooler Gasket. You want to make sure you get that on there before you put it in. And then we're not going to worry about the hoses just yet. We'll get the hoses in a minute. So this whole thing, without the hoses, slip it into the exhaust manifold. That's where it goes. You make sure you get the gasket in there. Without the gasket, you're kind of effed. Now here's the sticking point. All right, right under here is the temperature sensor. Now I'm going to show you how to do that, because this is the key to the whole thing here. So nobody can believe this will work, but I'm going to show you. Okay, you can see this is on. Okay, you can see that it's on. So I'm going to show you how we got there. See that? I know it's weird, but that's how it's got to be, all right? So just get it in there. And then it'll tighten up fine. See? There's your... Well, there it is, right there. That's your flange for the EGR cooler. And here's your temperature sensor. See, it's right there. It's right there. So you know what I say? I say go for it, because this isn't hurting anything. All right, the wire's free. We've done this already. We've done it before. It's not hurting anything. So now if you want, you can move it. Like I said, you can always move the pipes and stuff. You can move the temperature sensor, but I don't see any reason to do that. Okay? Before we move on, I wanted to give some more attention to these hoses. As you may know, the hoses are going to go back the way they were, because we're going to use the Gen 3 EGR cooler. So everything goes back the way it came from. But this pipe here is replacing a pipe that came straight out of the head, and then this hose was the one that plugged into the head. Well, that's gone. So now we have to put it in here. So we're going to turn it 90 degrees and stick it right there. And, you know, make sure it's happy, make sure it's comfortable. And then clamp it down, and then you'll be all straight. Now these old Priuses, they have some known heating issues. So I'm going to flush out my heater core, just to be sure that it's clear. So I'm going to pinch off one of my catalytic converter hoses, a pair of vice grips. Just as long as it's tight, that's good, right there. So I'm going to pinch that off, and then I'm going to run water. This is the inlet hose, so I don't want to run water into the inlet. I want to let the water run out of the inlet, because we're going to back flush it. So I'm going to stick that down there. so it has a place to go. And I'm going to run water into this funky looking pipe here, this hose, with the temperature sensor on it, because that's going to back flush everything. My heater core and my heat exchanger from the catalytic converter. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, flushed out the hoses. Now this one, the bottom heater hose goes to the gooseneck. Right? Then we slip that clamp on there. Easier said than done, of course, as usual. Okay, that's about right. It's a good place for it. And then it's on to the EGR cooler comes in here, and we need the hoses for that. So the EGR cooler with the gasket. Don't forget the gasket. And this slips right down in there. As long as you get it lined up with the manifold, you'll be okay. And once you get that, then you slip it over the temperature sensor. Seems real tight this time. You know, maybe I'll take some more off of that. Some more off of the head. Yeah, it seems a little tight. I'm going to take some more off. Couldn't hurt anything. I don't see any reason not to, except for that that fuel line there. I thought maybe I nicked that fuel line, but nope, I did not. Well, it's real close, man. Real close. Let's finish it off. I think we'll just yank that off there. There's no reason to. This is a tempt fate. We should get out the hose again. It's fucking incredible. The amount of shit. Okay, this hose is gonna go here. For those of you who weren't paying attention before. It's like a miracle, like a Christmas miracle. Everything has a place, you know. There we go. That goes to the tank. Believe it or not. Now I think we can get that EGR cooler installed. Oh, that's much better now. Much better. That hose goes on the top. This one goes on the side. Just like that. This one goes on the top. But we want to make sure everything fits first. Beautiful. A little concerned about these clamps. They're kind of rubbing a little bit. Rubbing on my hose. I don't like that. So we're going to rotate them. There's no reason to be unhappy with this stuff. You should just work stuff out till you're happy with it. You know? So I'm going to pull this back out. Don't be dismayed. I'm going to rotate this one because I don't know if it's interfering with anything. I'd like it not to. That's my goal in moving it. I ran out of room with my... There we go. Now it's on the side. I really doubt that anything is going to come near this on the side. And this one, we're going to move that over because I know it rubs on the thermostat line. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't rub on the thermostat line. Put that one on the side too. Where it makes me happy. Do stuff that makes you happy, you know? Okay, another test fit. I think we're good now. Let's get those hoses under that. Hold on to the gasket. And that slips on, but it's got to go over like that. There you go. And then all these hoses have to find their place. See, I'm good with that. I like that. Time to hook up the hoses. This one in back. That slips over. That one goes on the EGR cooler. Give the clamp a little more room here. Try to get more. There we go. We're on. I'll pull the clamp over. These hose clamps are always a bitch. I don't know what the problem is. There we go. Just wasn't putting enough on it, I guess. Okay, that one's clamped. And we got this one here. I'll clamp this one. That one's on. Turn our attention to the thermostat line that goes on there. That was easy. You got to do this before you put the dipstick tube in because you won't be able to reach any of this. Once the dipstick tube is in, you will not be able to reach it. This goes to the throttle body, and we're going to cut this line, put a T in it, and that'll go to the throttle body as well. This one comes directly from the head. From the head, and gets pumped back. I think it bleeds off the air. I think if there's any air, it goes back to the tank. Also, it's going to come back from the throttle body. This is going to come from the head and go to the throttle body. And then it's going to return on this, the thermostat line, so it has somewhere to go. Okay, I didn't engineer this stuff, that's just how it goes, okay? Yeah. On the 2012, this pipe here, this S pipe, would have a tap for the throttle body, and this comes from the gooseneck, same as this. This comes from the gooseneck. It's the same. So please don't tell me that it's not going to work or it's improper, because this comes from the gooseneck, and the old tap for the throttle body came from the gooseneck. And this is the line that went to the throttle body from the EGR cooler. So if you got any problem with the logic, let me know, okay? Okay, I think we'll put in the upper radiator hose. I know it doesn't look like an upper radiator hose, but I think that's what it is in this instance. So that one, we just punch that back where it belongs. This one, we just punch that back where it belongs. So, I'd say give it a good wiggle, just to make sure that you get it lined up right. We're gonna leave it right like that. Give that a little wiggle. Get the twist out of that. We're gonna clamp it on the bottom.